everybody, to Thirsty Thursday edition of Plumbing with Tim, the show where I answer you, the viewer's question, as well as commonly asked questions I get from my customers. Wisdom juice. Wisdom juice. Here we go. Question number 1 this week comes in from a Jonathan. Jonathan asks, how often should I replace my wax seal to my toilet? Well, Jonathan, that's a good question. So I'm going to return that question with a question. Do you live in a house where you have problems with your toilet stopping up on a regular basis, which makes it so you have to go in there with a plunger and plunge that thing to get it to go down? If you do, chances are it's about time for you to replace that wax seal. There's no time span on replacing your wax seal. I've seen them last for years and years and years. You're going to know, first of all, A, if you see water leaking out around the base of the toilet, or B, you start getting a sewer gas smell in your house. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for that question. Appreciate it. Keep them coming. Question number 2 today comes from Gabriel. Gabriel asks, what is your opinion on having a timer on a water heater? Well, Gabriel, I see them on a lot of water heaters. My personal opinion, I don't have one on mine because pretty much people put timers on their water heaters because they want to regulate when the water heater kicks on and heats and when it shuts off. And they think they're saving all kinds of money, when in essence, you maybe be saving a few bucks. What I don't like about timers on water heaters are what happens when the time changes. Now you're out there screwing around with the thing, having to reset the time on there so it keeps up with when you want it to come on and when it to go off. On top of that, they have been known to fail. What happens if your power goes off? It gets out of sync with everything. My opinion is I really don't like them, but there are a lot of people that do have them. So if it works for you, good. If you're thinking about putting one on, I wouldn't suggest it. So thank you very much for that question, Gabriel. Okay, this is our featured question of the day, and this question comes in from Billy Joe Denny. Old Bill in the Hills. Before I even get started with this question, everybody make sure to go to Billy Joe Denny's YouTube page. This good old boy, he's got some great videos. He's got a ton of subscribers. He's been doing this for a long time. And on top of that, he's also a fellow third-generation plumber. So it's an honor to be asked a question and see what kind of opinion he gets from me. So here we go. The question from my buddy Bill in the Hills is, when it comes to having 2 water heaters in your home, what is better? To install them in series or parallel? Well, I had actually put my thinking cap on for this one because you don't run across 2 water heaters in a house all the time. So my answer would be this. If you're planning on putting a second water heater inside of your house, okay, and that's all you want to do so you can acquire more hot water, I would definitely probably stick with putting them in series. Now, what does that mean? I've got an existing water heater that's sitting here, I've already had, and I'm adding a second one right next to it. So I'm going to disconnect everything. I'm going to run my cold water feed into the new water heater. Out of the hot, I'm going to go into the cold of the existing one, and out of the existing hot, I'm going to run it back into the house. Now, what does that do? It means this new water heater is heating up, and it's automatically filling the second water heater up as a holding tank. The only problem is with running 2 water heaters in series is the fact being is unless you're getting an electrician out there and you're running power 240 to both of the water heaters, now you have a water heater that's sitting there as a holding tank, but it's not able to heat the water up on its own, really. It's relying on the new water heater to put water into the existing one. So, but I'll tell you what I thought about this for a minute, if you're going to do 2 water heaters in a series, you're already gone down there and gone that far. Go the extra mile and maybe consider getting yourself a small solar panel to put on the roof and a circulation pump and hook that into the existing water heater that doesn't have power source. That way it's a holding tank, and it's working off of solar power, especially here where I live in Central Florida. This is called the Sunshine State. So there's plenty of solar, plenty of power. Allow the new water heater to be hooked up to the power, the 240. So it is the primary heater, and to dump that water over into the existing water heater. But at the same time, that water that's sitting in the existing water heater, instead of it just sitting there, have a heat source that goes in there, such as solar. Yeah, it's a little bit of a startup cost, and that, in my opinion, would be the most ideal way of doing two water heaters in series. Now, if you're talking about doing it in parallel, if I can remember right, the best way to do a parallel water heater without having to do a bunch of repiping and all that stuff is if you are planning on doing some sort of a remodel in your house, such as a repipe or something. At that time, you can put that second water heater anywhere you want in the house, okay? Have its own power source, its own water supply, and have it so it's providing hot water to only certain fixtures, like a new bathroom, or one bathroom and a kitchen, or a bathroom and a laundry. That way you have two of them, but now you're talking about extra power, extra light bill and stuff like that. So in my opinion, Billy, I would stick with the series and doing it that way. So you don't run across it enough, but that's a really good question, and I really appreciate it. So guys out there, don't forget to go to Billy Joe Denny's channel and subscribe. He's a good old boy. So that's all the time we have for today. Man, these questions keep getting better. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and getting involved here in the plumbing community and stuff. Listen, if you got a question for me you'd like me to answer to the best of my ability, make sure to leave them down below in the comment. That way I can answer them for you next time on Thirsty Thursday edition of Plumbing with Tim.